This time on Classic Reviews, we're going to be looking at the 1993 classic Spielberg film, Schindler's List. Schindler's List was directed by Steven Spielberg and stars Liam Neeson, Ben Kingsley, and Ralph Fiennes, and follows the true story of Oskar Schindler, a member of the Nazi Party who, after having a change of heart, tries to save as many Jews as he possibly can. And over the course of World War II, he was able to save nearly 1,100 Jews in total. Usually when I watch a movie, I try to do a review as soon as I have seen the film or show or anything like that. I don't give too much time because I want to give my raw reaction to it, but this, I had to sit on it. When I watched Schindler's List, I was moved by what I saw, and it needed time to sit in and to think and to meditate on it. This is, of course, a film that is horrifying. Not in a sense of, the film is horrifying to watch, but the subject of the film is horrifying. The true story behind it is horrifying. And the fact that real human beings can be so cruel to others, it's hard to watch in that respect. And so I watched Schindler's List, it being the 25th anniversary of the movie. I was interested to look at this, seeing as I had never actually seen the film before. And I think this was definitely the best time to watch it. And I'm so glad I did. What Steven Spielberg has done here is absolutely astounding and the best work I have ever seen from him. Spielberg is one of my all-time favorite directors. He's made some incredible films that I love. And this is his magnum opus. This film is filled to the brim with passion, love, and just care. Everything in this film does not feel that it was just wasted. Nothing about it. It feels so perfect in every ounce of its body. It's incredible watching this man, Oskar Schindler, played by Liam Neeson, seeing him transform through the film as somebody that is part of the Nazi Party, and just watching him, seeing the horrific stuff that's going on with the treatment of the Jews by the Nazis, and all of that. Just seeing the moments that lead up to his decision to save as many as he can. It's an incredible character arc, and it's brought to us by the best performance I have ever seen out of Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson is an actor that I like Liam Neeson a lot, but he does have the problem of being monotone in a lot of his roles and just sounding bored a lot of the time. Not here. Liam Neeson gives the performance of his career. It is a subdued performance, a very human performance, and just the way he looks and examines what's going on is fantastic. The emotions he brings. When you see him looking at all this stuff, you really feel it. And that's something amazing, that Liam Neeson was able to do this. There's, of course, other great actors in this, such as Ralph Fiennes, who plays Amon Goth, the lead Nazi in the film, who is horrible, a despicable human being, and he plays it so well. This is one of the greatest villains I have ever seen put to film. He is evil, down to the core. Now, in some ways, he might seem a little, maybe not completely three-dimensional, but Ralph Fiennes does such an excellent job of doing what the script is making him do, which is be this horrible, horrible person. And he's great in it. Ralph Fiennes actually, he put on a bunch of weight during the filming process. Apparently he drank just Guinness, gaining 28 pounds, and it shows in a lot of scenes. We just see him as this schlubby person that cares very little for human life. And, I mean, according to his weight, he doesn't care much for himself either. And that's great. The performances from everybody are really good, across the board. But the real star of this film is not Liam Neeson. It's not Ralph Fiennes. It's not Ben Kingsley or any of the other actors. It's definitely John Williams' score. Now, I've heard this score plenty of times. It's ingrained into your mind, even if you have never seen the film. You know the soundtrack, and it is some of the most heartbreaking and beautiful music I have ever heard. It's incredible, and so perfect. It just hits you in the gut when you see the scenes on screen, and just the horrific stuff that's going on, and even with the uplifting stuff, it just hits you like a truck. And that's a great score right there. The main theme of Schindler's List is incredible to listen to, as well as some of the songs that play during one scene that I'm going to talk about in full, the liquidation of the ghetto. So that's probably where I'm going to talk about this now. Now, when I started watching the film, it really didn't get amazing and just fantastic until this particular scene. I had been watching the film for about 30 minutes, and I'm like, this is really good, but it's not greatest film of all time good. And then there's this extended sequence that happens. It's the liquidation of the ghetto, where the Nazis go through this ghetto and take Jews, killing them, capturing them in order to take them to camp. And this scene it goes on for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. And how we are introduced to this is Oskar Schindler is on a horse with his wife, and they look out to the ghetto below, and they're watching this happen. And we see the Nazis taking over the place, basically pulling men, women, and children out of their homes. And while this is going on, Schindler's watching, of course. We see just the horrific stuff that goes on, the murder, the abuse, all of it, the terror. You feel just icky during this scene. And then, of course, the moment everyone knows about this film, we see the girl in the red coat, and just the music that plays during this moment, and cutting back and forth between this and Schindler's reaction to it is fantastic. He sees that this is wrong, but he doesn't do anything about it, and that's what Spielberg wanted. The little girl with the red coat, Spielberg mentioned that we knew that this was going on, but we did nothing to stop it. And that's what's happening in this scene. It's so well done. This is a perfect scene and one of the greatest sequences of film ever. The film has got great scene after great scene. I could go over so many, but this review would be very, very long, and perhaps it's already long enough. But stuff I also really love is the horrific scene, of course, in Auschwitz when the women are taken there by mistake, and we see them being stripped naked and their heads shaved and going into the gas chambers, and just we're waiting for something to happen, and we feel like we're in there with them. It's so claustrophobic, and it's horrible. It's horrible to watch, and it's hard to watch, but you watch it anyway, and you're so moved by what's happening. And perhaps the most moving scene in the entire film is near the end. Of course, I'm going into spoilers because this is a true story, and also it's a 25-year-old film. I feel like I can spoil some of the stuff. The scene that truly gets me is when the war has ended and Oskar Schindler is going to leave because he's a wanted man, because he's part of the Nazi party, and so he begins to flee. And there's this moment where they give him this golden ring, and he's like, this gold, I could have used it to get one more, just one more. And he breaks down in tears, and you do too. This is a fantastic scene, and just brought to life by such good acting from Liam Neeson. It's terrific. This film is virtually flawless in every single part of it, from the cinematography to the directing to the acting to the screenplay. All of it is fantastic and just well put together. It's an incredibly crafted film that feels so real, and I love that. And if there is something I can say that the film has a flaw in, I would say that the only flaw I can find in it is that the first 30 minutes or so are, I hate saying, kind of dull. I'm not really into it that well. It goes by very slow. A lot of the pacing in the very beginning, and it's not until we get to the ghetto scene where it really picks up and the rest of the film is just a breeze, and it doesn't feel like 3 hours and 15 minutes at all. But it's just that one little part where I was honestly scared while watching it because I was afraid that I wasn't going to love this film like I felt like I should. But it ultimately doesn't take away enough from the message of the film or any of the performances, directing, or any of that. This is a fantastic film, and it is Spielberg's best film by far. This is just great filmmaking. Just fantastic filmmaking. And so, with all that said, I'm going to give Schindler's List a 9 out of 10. If it wasn't for the first 30 minutes, this film could easily be a 10 out of 10. One of my favorite movies of all time. But I can say that this is an incredible film that I absolutely love, and I think it is well deserving of the title of one of the greatest films ever made. Spielberg, you have done a terrific job here, and just, I'm glad that this film is as good as it is, and I'm glad it's celebrating 25 years, and that's really amazing. This was a fantastic film, and I absolutely loved it. I'm glad I got to see it. So anyway, guys, that's really all I've got to say. I know this may have ran a little bit long, and I was kind of quiet during this, but I just felt like I needed to be a little bit solemn while talking about this. I couldn't be my regular, normal self, fast talking. I feel like I really had to slow down to be able to talk about this seriously. So anyway, guys, with all that said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.